So welcome back, Peter.
Welcome back.
I know you
Good to
just
see
came
you.
back from a little vacation.
Yes,
Visited
yes,
the motherland, and you're
yes.
back.
Went to Europe, went to Poland, and came back. Had a great time there. I was over 2 weeks, and I I visited a lot of construction projects there, builders, things. It wasn't really a vacation. I was taking my time and looking at the real estate there and see what's going on, how the market is looking in Poland, and got some valuable info.
Yeah. So what do you think that makes it like the investments you have here in the United States, right, in Chicagoland and been around the Chicagoland area? Do you think that that's helping you out, like see different projects in different countries? Is it a good investment to invest in other countries?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, any country is good as long as you make money, and the key, is to check, how much the new projects or the old houses are selling, and how much are the updated, new ones are selling. So you see the price difference, and you calculate the cost, to finish it, and if there is a profit, there is a way to make money. And that's not only Poland. I think it's any country. You can go to Mexico, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, and there are places that you can invest and make money.
Yeah, so I see a lot of places here in Latin America. I've only gone to Mexico, Dominican Republic, just like those two different countries. I haven't really explored too many options, but I have noticed that in different, like in Mexico, there's a lot of growth. There's a lot of growth. There's a lot of new factories open up. There's a lot of new construction all over the place, whether it's industrial or whether it's for vacation. And you could definitely Airbnb that. But let me ask you this. What has been one of the tricks that you have taken? Because I know you have property in Poland, right?
Yeah, well, the property that I have is right now is something that I just purchased, and it's getting built. So
Oh,
this is
wow.
something that's gonna get ready to move in 2026, second part of 2026. I was told. So hopefully it's gonna be at the same time next year, and. I'm not 100% convinced if I'm going to do Airbnb or just, keep it as an investment and resell it maybe a year or 2 years later once I finish it up. Uh, that's still,
It's still in there.
still in there.
So what would you say, or what would you suggest for anyone that's like looking like, oh, hey, you know what, I want to retire, or hey, I want to have a summer vacation home, instead of getting these deals when I go to Cancun, they try to tell me like, oh, here, getting this timeshare, and instead of doing that, like, get a house, right? Get an apartment, get a condo, get a home, get something that's under your name only, and you have control over it, whether you want to Airbnb it or if you just want it for yourself when you go on vacation and stay in your own home. But what do you think has helped you to get to that level that you're at right now, that you're able to purchase properties in different countries?
Well, so the key factor is to make money, and to invest in the right property. You have to do your research. You either have to have a real estate agent. There is, from a local place there, and has idea on the prices, or you have to do your own research and check the history of the properties that they're selling. And that depends what kind of property you're looking for. If you're looking for a condo that's been built 20, 30 years ago, you have to check, the ones that are sold in the same building or same complex, how much they were selling a few years ago, how much they're worth right now. If you see a decent percentage, decent growth in prices, then it's always worth it to invest. Same with builders. Once they're building new construction properties, you have to check what was built 3, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, how much those properties were selling, how much they are selling right now. And if it's a small percentage difference, then it's usually not worth it to invest. But if you see 20, 30, 40% growth, then it's easy investment. On the other hand, if you want to have Airbnb or something that you want to come back and use it yourself, you got to check the the location. Location is the key here. You gotta like something, close proximity to ocean, or some kind of tourist place.
Yeah, so a lot of tourist attractions is like where I see a lot of Airbnbs that get swept up a lot. Especially during vacation, during summer, during winter break, during anything, and but like when you take your vacation, where do you usually go? Where do you stay at?
Well, we go to resorts most of the time. If I go to Europe, usually you go to hotels, or you go to family. But if we go to exotic places, anywhere, in Mexico or Dominican Republic, Jamaica, anywhere else, Aruba, then you most likely you're gonna end up in a hotel or a resort.
Okay. And what would you like? I know a lot of people have that dream, like a lot of Hispanics, and I'm pretty sure like a lot of you know Europeans from Poland, England, from Germany, from anywhere in the country, right? There's so much beauty, so much history back then. Like back in the countries, that we're from, that you're from, that our family is from. And it's always nice to say like, hey, you know what? I actually purchased a house, or I purchased property, or I purchased land. Like in back in my place, in my town. And it's always nice. It's always a dream of anyone that comes here. Become and live the American dream, and we work and work and work.
Right.
And that's the smart thing that we have to do. We have to invest in a property in order to buy more property. Because just working and working and saving your money, that's gonna kind of like take a little while. And I found a loophole to that is purchasing a property here in the United States, maintaining it, taking care of it, and fix it, sell it, keep it, rent it out, and then make your money. And then in a couple of years, you have equity. You build equity, and then we have programs that it could take off like
Hmm.
take a home equity line of credit, and then you could purchase your home, or you could purchase your land, or you could start your
Correct.
project back where you wanted to start it at. And then you build your house, you build your second home, your home away from home, or that's going to be your home for when you retire.
Correct.
Because here in the United States it's getting pretty pricey to retire, like
It is. Yeah, it
medical
is.
bills, medicine, gas, light, um, even the taxes for the properties are getting pretty pricey.
Hmm.
uh, what would you recommend people to do? Was that like a pretty good plan? Do you think
Yeah,
that?
yeah, it sounds great. Yeah, I've heard investors doing it. They're buying, multiple properties. They're building a portfolio, and they're, instead of spending extra money on anything new that they buy, they usually refinance and take the money, take the equity from those properties, and they reinvest in the new properties, which is a perfect way, because you can use your own money for something else, and whatever you purchase, whatever portfolio you have of properties, you just keep and reuse it to buy anything else, or any new property. That's a great idea, and a lot of investors are doing it right now. A lot of investors, maybe I'll rephrase it. A lot of investors with multiple properties. If somebody buys one property, sells one property, buys another property, usually they don't do it. But if somebody owns 10 properties, 12 properties, 15 properties, that's the perfect way to do it. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, I know. I have like family members that have done it as well. They bought their houses back in the late '80s, early '90s,
Hmm.
and they bought in the north side of Chicago. Back then it was like pretty rough. Now it's like multi-million-dollar houses. And they've taken refinance their homes, and they built some extravagant houses in Mexico. Like from the town we're from, we got some of the prettiest houses out there. Like my
Yeah.
grandma did the same thing. And yeah, we fixed the roof in the house that she has, the siding, put new stairs, did some land yard work and all that. But the house in Mexico, Jesus Christ, like that thing is, it's humongous. It's really nice, nice floors, nice breeze, nice mountain view, and You know,
Beautiful.
it's
Yeah.
it's beautiful. You have to go. You have to go see it.
Yeah,
I
we'll
think
go
you'll
for
blend.
sure.
I think you'll blend in. You know, like you'll blend in with the Mexicans over there. You know, we got the white complected ones too, colored eyes, everything.
No, perfect. Yeah, we have to go on a trip. We have to see. I've been to Mexico multiple times, but most of the times it was Cancun or Puerto Vallarta
Yeah.
area. But any area in the middle of the country, that would be great to see. The difference.
Oh yeah.
Something away from tourism, just a regular average Mexican life, and how they live and how they do it. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it's just like anything else, you know. It's just like we live by the day. We go get our food when we have to get our food. We go out and we go by the taco stands. We could go by the market. In the market they have a bunch of restaurants that have different type of dishes, and different juices, different coffees, different snacks, different
Yeah,
pastries, and everything's fresh, like everything's fresh over there.
perfect.
And that's we have to go, you have to go check it out.
For sure, for sure. We'll plan on it. We'll go. We already probably had some plans, a year or 2 years ago, but we'll do it for sure.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, and I gotta go to Poland too.
yeah. We gotta find you a new wife.
Yeah, probably the right wife, You know.
Not a problem. What else is going on in the real estate and the loans? How's the
So
market
right
right
now
now?
the market's cooling down. Like you said in June, like here in Chicago, we've been having a pretty busy month. June, July, August, September is usually pretty busy. Now the months that are coming ahead, like September, October, November, December, it's a little bit slower. But the rates are also coming down quite a little bit right now. Not like drastically, but they're coming down. They're being more reasonable.
Uh huh.
And I suggest for people to purchase their property right now because, the rates are gonna if they keep going down the way they're going, like get the property right now, invest in it, fix it, do whatever you have to do, take out an equity on it in a year or two. Like the
Mm.
prices here in Chicago just keep going up.
Yeah.
The market hasn't been that hot all over the country, and then we're suffering from different hurricanes, tornadoes, and everything that's going around the south, the east, the west coast. So we are in a pretty very very specific area that we get rain, we get things like that, but we don't get like hurricanes and stuff
Mm.
like that. So
Yeah.
we get tornadoes, but here in Chicago I haven't seen one. Have you?
No, no. Mostly we get floodings or we get like storms. Yeah, but there's nothing crazy. Once in a while we get something bigger here, but for most part, our weather is, in compared to different states, is pretty good here.
Yeah, it's good. So that's why I think the values of the homes just keep going up because, I'm pretty sure a lot of people down in Texas, in Florida, in California, they're getting tired of this. They're getting tired of the global warming. They're getting tired of their houses getting destroyed every other year.
Mm.
And they're tired of them spending money and, getting evacuated from their house and then having to go and rent a hotel and live in a small room for like a couple months while their house is getting constructed again. Like, who wants to go through that?
Yeah.
And here in Chicago, I think we have the great weather. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes, we have to get ready for it. But the prices just keep going up for the homes, and anything you need to do inside your house, keep your furnace, tuned up, get it professionally checked every year, and just spend a little bit of money. And the little bit of money that you're going to spend is going to go a long way. It's going to save you money in the long run. And here, luckily, we have heat, we have air conditioner. If it's too hot, if it's too cold, we figure it out.
Yeah.
It gets figured out.
Yeah, I was going through different states and different markets there, and Midwest, Illinois. It's still a steady growth, steady increase in prices, still more buyers than sellers, which is very different than Florida or Texas right now. So our markets stand strong, and I think once the rates are going to come down a little bit, it's not going to get worse. It only can get better.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's gonna get better. So I'm saying, if someone's able to buy a house and purchase the home and fix it, they could refinance later on down the road in 6 months, a year, year and a half, when the rates get better. When it makes sense, all you do is call us. We figure it out. It has to make sense for you to refinance. We're not
Mm.
gonna refinance you just because it dropped a quarter of a percent or anything like that. We have to make it make sense. So when they make sense, you could also do what's called cash out refinance.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's anything you want to do to your home, like repair your kitchen or repair your washroom or update it, just make it look modern, you could definitely do that. Refinance your house and do that. Get a lower
Yeah.
rate. Your payment will probably be cheaper, less expensive than what it is now. And then you'll be paying less money, and then you have money in your pocket as well.
Yeah, we talked about it last time, and I will say it one more time that I think buying a house right now it's a lot better than waiting out for lower rates and trying to buy something when there's more buyers when the rates come down. Um, I think people should take advantage of easy market right now. There's not there's not a lot of problems negotiating right now from sellers, some kind of a discount, some kind of a credit. The repairs, if they're needed, it's easy to have seller repair anything. Well, once the market is gonna get busier with buyers, all those things are gonna go out of the window. Discounts, repairs, or any credits is gonna be very hard to get. Um, what do you what is your what is your expectations for the rates for the next few months? Because I'm getting very mixed opinions. Most of them are saying that the rates are going to drastically go down, which I didn't think it's going to happen a few months ago. But a lot of people are saying that the rates should come down, maybe half percentage, maybe even 1% by the end of the year. But what do you think? What is your expectation?
Well, my expectation would be, I mean, it would be ideal if they do drop like 1%. If they drop half a percent, that's a big help. Yeah, for a lot of our buyers, especially because some of the buyers that we have, they're barely like at the top, like they're barely right there at the edge of like, hey, this is how much you could approve for. And unfortunately, sometimes we do see some clients that they want a little bit of a bigger house. They need the extra bedroom. They need the extra washroom because they are having a bigger family, and unfortunately, they cannot get that because the rates are a little bit higher, or their income is like right there. And
Mm.
and dropping down half a percent or even 1% will help us out a lot. But the way I see the market is it's the same thing. It's up and down. We don't know what's going on. They keep saying that jobs are being made, and then there's a lot of people that are like, hey, like they cut
Job,
off my
yeah, yeah.
overtime. I don't have any bonuses. My company is cutting down hours, and where do we stand? I really don't know where we're at right now. Where I do follow a lot of the market watches and all that, and seeing every day I'm looking at see if the rate dropped. In the mornings the rates are a little bit better, or sometimes even at night they're a little bit better. It just like fluctuates.
Fluctuates. Yeah, I see it every day. The rates are fluctuating. People are hoping that they're steady dropping, but then 2 days later they go up.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, I think they're staying around the same percentage that they were a few months ago. Um, yeah, Feds are planning on dropping the rates. I'm not sure if next month that's going to happen, but even though we shouldn't be 100% sure the mortgage rates are going to come down because Fed rates and mortgages are not directly correlated. But everybody's hoping that that's going to happen, and the buyers are going to come out, that the ones that couldn't qualify for a house, that they couldn't qualify for a townhome, now they're going to come back to the market searching for new properties. But there's a percentage right now of there's a stat that I checked right now. There's 3.7% drop in new listings in compared to last July 2024. So the rates are going to come down, there's going to be more buyers qualifying to purchase, but there's a lot less properties on the market right now than there were, even a year ago, which was kind of low already market. So I'm not sure where is that going to take us.
Yeah, like honestly, I wish I had a magic ball to tell me like, hey, the housing
Right.
market is gonna be this, the rates are gonna be that, and I wish I knew, but unfortunately, it's very hard to even predict, what's gonna happen. You have people on one side saying like, oh, we're gonna hit a market crash, we're gonna hit interest rates gonna drop again, and there's gonna be these many programs for so many people, and then you have other people that are like, no, everything's going to get more expensive. Rates are going to keep going up. Houses are going to get more expensive. So, like there's houses that are being built and they're not being cheap. You know, Materials are not
Yeah.
inexpensive as they were, maybe before the pandemic. And everything just keeps going up, like
Yeah.
even just a piece of wood, costs you more money.
One of my clients just purchased a house, a rehab property, and he had a pretty long list of contractors that he's using. He called all of them. He couldn't find anybody open for next 2 months to start working on his property. So people are doing their, especially right now during the summer, they're doing their construction, they're updating their homes. They're instead of purchasing a new home, they're staying in their houses, and they're updating them. They're finishing bathrooms, they're finishing new kitchens. So it's not a great sign for us that there's going to be a lot more new listings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like around the neighborhood that I live in. So I live close to Midway Airport and Marquette Park, around that area, south side of Chicago. I've seen at least like four of the houses that are in like around my neighborhood. Instead of them selling their house and going somewhere else to get a new home, they're building up. They're building to the side.
Mm.
They're making their garages new, bringing them taller, putting a driveway, fixing up their yard, and their houses are coming out like super big now. They're getting big. The neighbors that had the extra lot in the side of the house, they're building new construction in there, and they're building some beautiful houses. And I'm just like, like what's going on over here? The property values are just gonna go up, and it makes you kind of like want to like renovate a couple things in your house as well. You get motivated with that, with seeing all the work that's going on around. You get different ideas in your head, and you're like, oh man, maybe I do want to put the black windows, the black frame windows, and paint the house a little bit more outside, make it like a little bit more updated.
Yeah, this is a good example. Yeah, same with my street. When I see one neighbor doing a driveway, there's another one coming in and asking for a phone number to a contractor. So
Yeah.
and next week you see him doing a driveway too.
Yeah.
Or one person replacing siding or windows, and there's gonna be two new neighbors nearby asking for help. So yeah, it's always great to see that. Then one neighbor is fixing something, the other neighbors are trying to update too. And finding a contractor is not an easy way. So when they see somebody in person too, it's a lot easier for them to get in touch with somebody and maybe plan out.
Yeah.
Once they see their work, once they see what they do, if they like what the neighbor got, it's a lot easier for them to make a decision.
Yeah, like my neighbors, we put up new gutters, put a new fascia in the house. And my neighbors were like, hey, like, let me get this guy's number. He does a really good job. And they needed new gutters. Their gutters just kept falling down and everything. So I'm glad that they used him. And also, my brother and I got a guy to come and put up a fence for us, in the house. And same thing, my other neighbor decided to put a fence on his house. It was an open lot. Everything was open. But, we need a little bit of privacy for the family. And we don't want the other neighbors in the back or cars that are driving by to be nosy when we're having a little cookout or do anything,
Yeah, sometimes you can even negotiate a better price. When you have 2 or 3 neighbors doing things around, the guy doesn't have to drive, 3 times to different neighborhoods. He comes into one neighborhood, does three different jobs, and makes money, and he can offer a discount.
Oh yeah, and even like getting landscapers, that helps a lot too.
Yeah.
Like I have broken my ankle, and even cutting the grass has been a challenge for me now. And even cutting down the bushes has been a challenge because you got to stand on the ladder, and with the
It's
machine and
always
everything. It's always
always the best to hire a local guy.
yeah, it's a
Local guy,
lot.
because you call
Yeah.
somebody to just come and do your house, the price is gonna be
Oh yeah,
drastic. Yeah.
yeah. So my brother actually got a guy that comes by the house and he does it. And my neighbor, he asked me for the phone number and I give it to him. So now the guy comes in and cuts the whole front yard and helps him out a little bit, trims it everything, edges everything, and like it looks nice. My neighbor, people are busy. Like a lot of us are extremely busy right now. Like you're busy with the hot market. Thank God. But your schedule runs from 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So when you get home, the last thing you want to do is cut the grass
Right.
or do any work in the house.
Correct.
Because you're physically you're okay, you still got it, but mentally we're drained. We just want to
Right.
stay
right.
home.
Yeah, because if you come in after 12-hour day home, and instead of relaxing and just talking to your family and maybe planning out for next day, you still have to do some stuff till 9 or 10 p.m. You don't have time to recharge your batteries. You don't have time to relax for a while because you have to take a shower, go to sleep, and wake up in the morning and go to work again. So it's not easy to do things, especially after a long shift of long days. But we got to do what we got to do. Sometimes we have to do it.
Yeah, we have to do a lot of driving. Sometimes we do. Like right now that it's the summer, we have to take advantage of it. We have you have your daughter, you have your family events every weekend. There's always something going on.
There's always something. Right?
When you're at home, you want to have friends over, family over, have a little cookout, hang out. We got to enjoy these 2-3 months that we have of summer, and it's almost coming to an end. So now we got to get ready for football, and now every Sunday is going to be tied up too. No matter no matter what we want to do, it's gone. And then there's open houses, and then there's the winter market that's going to come up, the fall, winter. So I do recommend a lot of people that are having their doubts, like, oh, you know what, I'm going to wait till next year. Hey, maybe right now it's the time to do it. Get ready for it. Maybe you have a Halloween party in your house, or Thanksgiving dinner at your house, or even Christmas and Christmas
Correct.
Eve in your house,
Mm-hmm.
or the New Year's party at your house. So it's a lot of excitement. Like, hey, we don't have to get all get the winter blues or anything like that. It's like, hey, this is the time to purchase a home. There's not a lot of buyers out there. There is sellers that they probably want to get out somewhere, or maybe they're retiring and they put up the house for sale and they want to enjoy the last summer in their house and with their family, and now they're gone. They're gone back to to their country of origin, because they just want to take a little break, or they gotta downsize, and it's a perfect time to take advantage of it and make sure the heater works, make sure the windows are in order, that they're not cracked or they're not broken, they're correctly sealed, all the doors, all the vents, everything around the house. These are like little things that you and I know what to look for, and that a lot of people should take advantage of it and ask us for the advice from you and I,
Mm-hmm.
and we could definitely help them out, and get the home ready for them.
Yeah. I think right now, summer is getting to the end, and the kids are going back to school. I think it's a good time. The weather is not as hot for the next probably few weeks. It's not going to be as hot as it was, So it's a perfect time to start looking for a house. If you're planning to purchase a house, don't wait till it's going to get cold, or don't wait till next year, because next year, if the rates are going to drop, how they predict them to drop, springtime is going to be busy with new buyers, and there's not going to be a lot of inventory available. So now is the right time to start looking for something. Now is the right time to take time and go search for your house. I think we still have 3-4 months of nice weather, and and plenty of time to find something. We only need 30 to 60 days to find something, and another 30 days to close. So within 3 months, we can get you into a new house,
Yeah.
and you can by November, October, you can be a new house.
You could be a homeowner by then, yeah. And the good thing that you brought that up, like, so imagine the rates drop 1%. You know, how many more buyers are going to be out there? And then we're going to be in the same scenario we were in 2020 again, where the rates were extremely low. The sellers were getting overbidded on their house. So what happens with a lot of the new buyers? They have to come up with extra money, and they're spending $20,000 to $30,000 out of their pocket just because they want to get the house. You know, so right now it's like, get the home, marry the home, don't marry the rate. The rate, refinance. Like I said, you know, and within the year you're able to refinance.
Yeah, the refinance is pretty inexpensive and compared to, you know, closings and all the title fees. So yeah, get on a search right now. Try looking for a house, find something right, get this finance, and if the rates are gonna drop, perfect. You know, next year or in 2 years, refinance, and you at least you don't have to worry about finding that perfect place that
Mm-hmm.
you may be able to find right now and negotiate, maybe get a credit, get the repair from seller. You know, so I'm putting offers every day, and there's less and less multiple offer situations right now. Every week, I see I put an offer and I can actually negotiate. So I think this is a perfect time for buyers.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's a perfect time for buyers because, like you said, you could get repairs done that are needed for the house. Right now, you may not see something right away, and then in the winter, you may see something, you know? And then you could get a credit, or you could get it repaired by the owner, you know, or maybe the furnace is like at his last days of pushing air out, you know, and sometimes
Yeah.
you just need to find that out and what's going on with it, you know, for the winter, you know, and probably the heater's not working as good as it did a couple years ago, and the guy just has to maintain it, you know, whoever the new homeowner
Hmm.
is just needs to get a credit for that, and maybe even buy a newer one that's more energy efficient and that's gonna keep the house warmer, and they'll get the credits for that, you know, for a new furnace.
Correct. Yeah, you can negotiate either credit for some kind of a repair, or credit to buy down the rate, which is another thing that I suggest to buyers. You know, if you know there's you know a lot of ways to lower your payment or to get you a better deal.
Yeah. So another thing too that I'm recommending for a lot of first-time home buyers, or even, you know, people that are looking at their second property, at their, you know, their next home that they want to purchase because their family grew, or, you know, maybe they're going through a divorce and they need to get something a little bit smaller, or something closer to work, or, you know, your parents are getting old, like a little bit older, and you want to be around them a little bit more. So there are programs that come down, like down payment assistance. There's grants that come out, and the thing is just to be ready for them. You know, like we had the $25,000 Cook County down payment assistance. That thing just flew.
Yeah.
Within three weeks, the program was exhausted of all the funds, and a lot of people were ready for it. You know, and
Hmm.
it's like, you know, we got to get ready for it again. Get our buyers, get our clients, prepare them just in case for anything like that happens, and maybe it could happen in a few months. You know, usually there's like around two times that program comes around. Different years has only been like one time a big amount or anything like that, but there's always programs coming out, you know. And myself or you, you know, I will keep you updated. Like, hey, Peter, you know, like this happened. You know, we're getting this program now,
Yeah.
and these are the these are the qualifications for it. You know, you have to have this amount of credit to get a certain amount of debt to income ratio. So the debt to income ratio pretty much means like, this is the amount of money you could buy in a house. This is the amount of money you make monthly. These are your debts. This is going to be your new debt with the house and everything like that. So I like to sit down pretty much with every client that I get and show them the numbers, how they work, And if they want to wait like maybe like a month or 2 months, like you're saying, hey, sometimes we have to wait like 30 to 60 days to find your home, your perfect home.
Hmm.
Or sometimes we get clients that are just like, oh man, this is it. This is
Right.
my home. This is I
It
love it.
doesn't happen often, but it happens.
It
Yeah.
happens. And we give them that option. Hey, you wanna buy the home now? This is how much everything's gonna be. This is how much everything's gonna come out of your pocket. You could refinance whenever you want. Or option B, hey, the program's gonna come out around this time. Be ready for it. Look at houses, kind of get a search, kind of get an idea what area you want to be in, how much money you're going to spend, and how much money you need to have saved up. Because when you get a down payment assistance or any grants, you have to keep that house for at least, a couple years.
Right.
In order for the grants to be forgiven, they always ask for about 5 years, sometimes a little bit longer. Any down payment assistance, you got to pay some of that money back or you got to have it prorated. So we refinance, you buy the house, anything like that, there's going to be, cost into it. So this is where we come out and we pretty much just let the buyer know, like, hey, these are the programs. We're going to guide you on which one would be more beneficial for you or which one you should just avoid and just go with a regular loan,
Right. Yeah, it's a great way. Sit down with your client and explain them the whole situation. Sometimes they don't need grants. Sometimes if they qualify for a better rate without grants. You just have to put a whole picture in front of the client or in front of the buyer and make them make a decision.
Yeah.
Um, and as good as grants are, there's always something that is connected to the grants. Either term that they have to keep their house, or income, or certain areas, zip codes. So it does not not everybody's going to qualify for that.
Yeah. No, yeah, because they have most of them have income limits. You can't make them this amount of money in this area. There's some areas that they don't care how much money you make. So whether you're a nurse, a police officer, or a doctor or anything, sometimes you could qualify for the grants as well. And then sometimes if you are a nurse and you're working like OT like crazy, yeah, it's not gonna work. You're making a good chunk of money. You don't need those programs. But if they're there and they're available to get them, why not? Take advantage of it.
Speaking about nurses, when we rehab homes and we resell them, my clients resell them. Then most of the buyers, I would say maybe not most, but a lot of buyers are nurses.
Yeah.
They make good money and they want their houses to be updated.
Oh yeah.
So like the rehabs are perfect, for them.
Oh yeah, especially for the nurses. I believe a lot of nurses, they do work a lot. They do take care of the patient.
Right. They don't have time to take care of updated homes. They'd rather move into something that is new or updated, something that they don't have to spend time and make it look better. And like you said, they work long hours. They work long shifts. Sometimes night shifts, sometimes day shifts.
Or double shifts.
No double shifts. Yeah.
Yeah, they stay with the patient and they care about them, and they were like, hey, let me hold back, let me take care of this one, and go about the day. And the last thing they want to do is come home to a construction site, and have to move around and have to move these things here or there. Like, no, they just need to come home.
Oh yeah, they need to come home,
drink
relax,
their coffee or
go
their
to
tea,
sleep,
and relax and rest up, shower up, and go to bed. Rest up and do it again the next day.
And yes. Speaking about nurses, it's the same with police officer or firemen. So they're another group of people. They're by either new construction or rehabs. There's a lot of police officers buying those homes because same as nurses, they work different shifts, long shifts. They want to come home. They want to relax. They don't want to worry about construction.
Yeah. No, yeah, especially like a lot of people in law enforcement or either firemen, sometimes they go days without being at home, like they got to stay, like firemen sometimes stay in the house, for like 4 days, 3 days out of the whole week. They're 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
They're on call. Police officers, they're on double shifts. Especially in the summer, there's a lot of events going on. There's a lot of things going on. There's a shortage in police officers as well, and they got to work a double shift, or
Correct.
their holidays or their time off already got declined because they have to go to work. So what's the last thing they want to do? Is come home, chores to painting to fixing a new home or doing the construction themselves. No, they want to come home. They want to enjoy their backyard. They want to smoke a cigar, drink a whiskey,
Yeah.
relax, chill, and
Yeah.
or spend time with their kids. Spend time with their family and take them out to the park or go bike riding or do something simple. And we gotta make sure that we talk to all these professionals as well. There's other professions that are the same thing. Like they work in factories, they work in assembly lines, they work in restaurants, they work as chefs, they work as waiters, they work as bartenders, and everybody, for the most part, does not want to come home to.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Those people are usually searching for rehab properties, or updated homes, semi-updated homes, nice homes. There's not a lot of them on the market, but there's a chance to find them. There's a one or two or three every day that I see that are good deals, and if I have any clients looking or buying in that area, I always make phone calls. I always tell them, "Hey, let's go for this house because you're not gonna have to spend a lot of money on it. You can move in. You can just basically use everything there's there updated, and not worry about anything for the next few years."
Yeah, and that's the best thing, and that's why I like to have the face-to-face conversation with our clients. Whoever you are, whatever you do for work, whatever you have in your business, come talk to Peter or I. We sit down, we figure out your plans, we figure out where you want to be in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and we kind of set up a plan for you. Like we'll tell you, like, hey, you know what? Like you said, you see houses. Hey, let me put you into what's made it easier for me, or what I see as a rehab, or what I see as an upcoming market. And we have those ideas for you that sometimes you don't. Some of the clients won't think about it. But that's why they have to communicate with us. Just give us a call, shoot us a text message. We are more than willing to help them out and find their forever home or their partial home, their home for the future. Like this may not be the ideal home for you right now, but maybe you just have a newborn and, in a couple of years you want to find a better school district,
Correct.
or maybe you plan on having two kids, later on down the road in 5 years, and then you just need to get a bigger home. You build your equity in this one and fix it up, and next thing you know, you're in your forever home. And that's why we're here. That's why we love what we do, and we love to help people out. And
Yeah, and we watch and see market every day, so we can guide you and point you in the right direction. We can point out some problems or some good things with the properties, and that's what we are here for. We are professionals, and I would never hesitate to call a professional if I'll be looking for something, especially for the spending money on the biggest transaction in my life.
yeah,